All right, so let's do a fun analysis of astrocartography. So just sit with the idea that the place you were born is not necessarily the place you're meant to build your life or business or your relationships. Like all your birth charts from various modalities, yeah, they describe who you are, what you're meant to do, how to do in detail. But when you also overlay it with astrocartography, and you see the world map, it shows you where on Earth different parts of you get activated. So that's my definition of astrocartography. So some locations will pull out your creativity, for example, your communication, others, your leadership, I guess. Some are relationship magnets, some are career accelerators. Some places, no matter how hard you work there, it could feel like just swimming upstream. So I'm going to show you how to pull your own astrocartography map using a free tool, and then how to bring it into Claude to help you further emphasize what you're looking at. So the tool I like is astro.com. They've been around for decades and they're considered one of the most credible in the astrological community. Their calculation engine is what's called the Swiss and Fermis, making them the gold standard because they provide the like NASA level accuracy for every chart and map they generate. Um, Actually, let me go to my private cognito mode to show you where to go. So you're going to go to astro.com, click on the left here for the menu. You are going to go to free horoscope and then locational astrology and then astro click travel. You're going to want to create a free account. So you'll just click here, fill in your details, and then you'll end up here. So this is my map here. Okay, so I have two windows open, Claude and this one. And you're gonna want to, let me set up my Word doc here. I usually start with your birth city. So it's right there. And you're gonna see three lines. So if you want to know what each means, click on each line here. You'll see the description right here. So before we get Claude to look into this, we're gonna put a prompt in here, and I'll put this prompt in the description below. This is the prompt that I used. I'm going to be sharing astrocartography lines descriptions for my birth chart map one at a time. For each one, I want you to explain what this line means in plain language. Tell me how it might show up practically in my life if I lived, worked, or spent significant time in that area. Note whether it's generally supportive, challenging, or complex. Each time I paste a new description, treat it as a separate line unless I tell you otherwise. Don't connect them unless I ask you to. After I've shared several lines, I may ask you to compare them or give me an overall read. Just wait for that cue. All right, so we're just gonna start because we are gonna have it connect when we get into this more. All right, so we're gonna go back to astro.com. Let's click on the first line. This is the description. I'm gonna copy all of this. And I'm just going to say to the west. Let's just say to the west of my birth city, I have this line. Paste that. Now I have an open doc here. I'm just going to note because this doc, we're going to upload this to Claude afterwards. So I'm just going to note down west of birth city. That's the description. I'm going to put Claude emphasis here. All right? So it's going to tell you what it means. Copy that back in the doc, right? We're building a storyline here is what we're basically doing. I will just put astrocartography in my downloads. All right. So this line, it's saying it's a strong area for writing, teaching, speaking, etc. Learning accelerates here. Network and meeting new people flows more easily. And let's go back here. So that would be and you can look at the cities closest by there to get an idea of where those energies are strong. All right. So this line here is literally the closest to my birth city. So let's see what that's about. I'm going to go back to Claude. This line is super close to my birth city, almost touching. Paste that. Go back to my doc. Document it. Line closest to birth city. Paste that. Claude. So, all right, so this line is actually one of the best lines of a chart. So, yay for me, because I actually moved back to my birth city recently. All right, the fact that this is almost on top of your birth city is significant. Good to know. All right, back to the map. This one is still in the province. Chiron. Back here. This is west of my birth city by about a few hours drive. All right. Get that going. Where is my paper? Here it is. A few hours east. Oh shoot, did I say west? East of birth city. Oh, what did I put? This is west. Oops, my bad. I meant east of birth city. Doesn't matter. It'll still mean the same thing anyways. Okay. All right, I guess that line is more beneficial on the west side. And that's another thing too. It also says here, more beneficial on the western side of the line, which I am. So yay. All right. Rewrite that and so I can copy. I mean, you can take your time and read it here. I'm going to read it when it's all done. All right, so that's what we have so far. And yeah, I get it can be time consuming, but trust me, it's worth it. All right, so I was born here, left when I was 19. Okay, you know what? I'm going to say it here because we need to create this story. All right. This Edmonton is where I was born and left at 19. So let's look at Toronto, where I lived for 26 years until recently. Hold on. All right, let's go to Toronto. So ideally, yeah, you're going to want to track where you've lived um, to get that story. Also, where you think you want to live, so you can get an idea of what's happening there. Moving on to Toronto. Right, this line goes right through it. And of course, it's Saturn because it's been one big trial of a journey for me. Okay, here's the line that goes right through the GTA. Paste that. Where's my doc? GTA line. This is going to be different for everybody, okay? This is based on my chart, so just keep that in mind. Some people don't have any lines, which is considered the, what's the term? Dead zone, which means it's neither good nor bad, I guess. All right, so. So it's interesting that the Saturn is going through the GTA because my life when I was living there has been actually everything that this describes. So it's like you're striving, but you're not moving forward. That's basically what I've experienced there. Yes, exactly. Ask you to prove yourself repeatedly. And so what I know about the Saturn line is it's forcing you to drop your ideas of, I guess, what success looks like if it's not aligned with you. And I recall trying to trial and error a lot of things in terms of that with me there. And when I finally discovered what I'm meant to do, sometimes I'm like, whoa, that's not a coincidence that I ended up moving maybe a year after. Yes, this accurately explains my journey while I was living there. All right. You can banter back and forth with Claude, but I would wait until you get more lines in here and then upload this entire doc in there so it could start connecting more dots for you. All right. So this line is just to the right, so that's more east. Ottawa's like 5 hours drive away though. All right. This line is about 5 hours east. East. Get my directions right, Bev. East Toronto. Put that in my, where's my doc? 5 hours east of Toronto. This is Ottawa area. All right, put Claude here so I know what's software and what's Claude. Where are we? Venus midheaven. That's the relationship line, I believe. Rules. Okay, Venus rules beauty, creativity, charm, money, what we value. And on the midheaven, all of that becomes publicly visible. One of the most favorable career and reputation lines. Huh. Should have moved there, huh? All right, let me just copy that, put it in the doc. And if you zoom in, that's literally right through Oshawa. Oh shit. I said Ottawa. Oops. That's okay. Let's just note it down. Line is, let's see, 50 minutes east of Toronto. Change out my doc. Change that. Okay, so I did have both Saturn and Venus. And the reason why I copy this onto Claude is because I just want more intel from than just this. Plus, by the time Claude gets most of your lines, you can start really bantering with it. I think Venus, I'm going to ask, is Venus more related to connections, relationships? Right. So now, I mean, we can keep going on where I live, but we won't go there. Now I'm just going to switch over to where I'm drawn to, which would be Central America. So let's go there. Let's go to Panama. Let's see if there's any lines. Yes, there is. Yeah, even Costa Rica. Let me check this line. Costa Rica, Jupiter. All right, I'm gonna. Okay, I'm at Costa Rica. There's a line through it. Costa Rica and Panama have always been a place I wanted to stay at. Okay, so let's get that going. There. Put that into document. Costa Rica. Paste that. All right. Oh, damn. Guess I should be there, hey? Luck, wisdom, optimism, opportunity, on the midheaven, all of that gets pointed directly at my career, reputation, public line. If Saturn is the grind and Venus is the stage, Jupiter is the wind at my back. Good to know. All right. Okay. Where was I? Panama. Oh, shit. Saturn. All right. Let me see. Moving on to Panama. There's this line. Same line I lived under in Toronto. Great. All right. Maybe not so much to live there. Maybe just to visit. What else is there? This line. It's also the Venus line. Just to double check. Because you'll have your planet here and then a specific line, which every planet can have multiple lines. So it's easy to mistake it for the same thing when sometimes it's not. Venus MC. All right. So out of these two, Costa Rica looks more my cup of tea out of the two. The Jupiter, you're more beneficial on the west of the line. So that would mean San Jose area, Liberia. All right. Where else am I drawn to? I am drawn to BC. Let's do one more and then I will show you how to banter. There's no lines here. I'm going to have to rely on this line, which I already did. What's this line here? Moon's Node. That's on the northern of Vancouver Island. Yeah, I don't think I would live there, but for shits and giggles, let us see what that means. All right, going to Vancouver area. Nope, Vancouver Island area. Oh, darn, I guess that is a good place for me too. Maybe just another place to visit. All right, let's save that. I think we have enough material in here. So I'm not going to upload the doc now just because this would remember everything anyways. The doc is useful if you want to come back and banter some more or add some more, because you can spend quite a bit of time on here just checking every line, because you can go to different parts of the world, check there. Now, sometimes your ideal line will end up in the middle of the ocean. You can click on the circles and it'll explain to you like the meaning of the cross, where two lines cross. And you see here there's some in the middle of the ocean, so yeah, something to keep in mind. Oops. Okay, this part of South America is worth looking at. Anyways, all right, so now you can give it a bit more context on your story so it can help you connect the dots. So I left Toronto recently to come back to Edmonton. Let's just say, is it a coincidence that move happened within a year or two of discovering my life purpose? And that's what I love about working with Claude versus just going on the website, clicking each line, reading the description, because it's not going to create that story for you. Okay, so now, oh, that's interesting. Saturn MC lines force a reckoning with what's real versus what you've been performing or enduring. So true. Coming back to Edmonton puts you back near your Sun MC and Mercury MC lines, the ones about visibility, identity, and sharp communications. That's not nothing. You left at 19 before those lines had anything real to work with. Oh, so true. You're returning as a completely different person with 26 years of Saturn forged substance behind you. Okay. Now, if I'm gonna ask, how do you compare the Edmonton lines with Costa Rica line in terms of delivering my life purpose? All right. Edmonton helps you find and refine the message. Costa Rica is where the message travels. All right. So, going to just add this here. Claude notes. So yeah, that's how you go back and forth with your astrocartography. Now, once you build up enough material in this doc, and you've gone back and forth with Claude a bit, I would actually now do prompting to connect the dots. And I'll put all of this in the chat, not in the chat, in the description below, because you can put something like this. Now that you've seen all my lines, what story do they tell about my life's geographical overall? Act 1, Act 2, Act 3, where I'm currently at, Act 4. And I mean, is it a coincidence that I'm really drawn to the west side of Canada and Costa Rica? I don't know. That's why you have to really feel into where do you actually want to explore. And sometimes when you look at the map, look at areas where there's a lot of lines, and who knows, some people have said they visited it and feel like they're just at home, even though you wouldn't have thought that that would be a place where you're at home, right? So this area, for me, I would look into. Um, all right. Yeah, there's a lot of prompts you can do to continue these banters. All right, I won't continue. I'll let you do yours. You could also ask, what does it mean if an area I live in do not have any lines? No lines means the area isn't particularly charged for you. Neutral territory. All right. What about areas that have multiple lines crossing each other? Obviously, it's going to depend what those lines are, so you're going to have to click each line and copy and paste in that whole jazz. So the lines can either harmonize or tension with each other depending on the planets involved. And it's just pulling up my stuff. So yeah, it's best that you check your map, and if there's somewhere that's converging a lot, like South Carolina for me, you would click each line, copy paste. This line, copy paste. This line, copy paste, bring it all to Claude and have it embellish on it more. Awesome. Okay, we are almost at the half an hour mark. I think that's what I wanted to show you. I will put the initial prompt in the description, as well as more prompts to help you banter more. All right, that is all I have.